Family, how's everybody doing? To my replay viewers, welcome to all of my live viewers. Thank you for joining in. What's going on, Minister JD Tolbert, Willie Hines? What's going on? Welcome to Periscope. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood is what I like to call it. My name is Roger Green Jr. I'd like to welcome all of you all on tonight. How y'all doing? Hope everybody's doing well. Y'all tell me where you're from. Tell me what y'all got going on tonight. I'm going to give a quick scope tonight on the marriage of confidence and competence is the title on tonight. Just want to give a little thought, something I was thinking about on today. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining in. As you guys are joining in, I appreciate it. What's going on, Tanya Erica? Thank you for joining in. And all of you all that are here, if you could do me a favor, if you have an Android device, if you can swipe up and share with your followers at this time. What's going on, Dr. Saunders? Glad to have you, man. All of you all, you have some heavy hitters in here, so definitely mingle, look and see who's in the room and follow some of these great people that are joining in. These are some heavy hitters, some Periscope heavy hitters that give great inspiration. So again, I'd like to welcome all of you all for joining in. Thank you for inviting your followers, Dr. Saunders. Please, those of you that are here, invite your followers. It would mean a whole lot to me. If you have an Android device, swipe up and share with your followers. If you have an iOS device, swipe left to right and share with your followers. Shalom to you. Shalom Pro. Peace be unto you. Joy glad to have you join in as well. What's going on, bruh? Danville is in the house. All of you all follow Pastor Saunders there. CC Saunders 123. Put up some emojis, Pastor Saunders, so that they can follow you. He gives some great inspirational scopes. Pretty_thickness. Glad to have you. Lisa Cupcake, good night. How you doing? If you all could do me a favor and share with your followers, it'd be greatly appreciated. I promise I won't try to keep you long. This will be a quick scope. I just want to talk a little briefly about what I like to call, thank you, Tanya, for sharing with your followers. I like to talk a little bit about the marriage between competence and confidence. Fine, thank you. Blessings. What's going on, Miss McCall Lewis? Thank you for joining in. I'm glad to hear that you're doing well. You guys mix and mingle. I love for my scopes to allow people to follow each other and to network and to gain networking opportunities. What's going on, MD Rogers? Glad to have you all joining in. If you're on the replay, you might want to fast forward a little bit because I just want to let everybody feel welcome as the room fills up. But I'll jump right in. Thank you for inviting your followers. I appreciate it. I'd like to talk a little bit about confidence. And a lot of times when I'm coaching a lot of people or giving some people some insight, oh, no problem, man. Y'all please follow Pastor Saunders. Great man of God, pastor there in the Danville, Virginia area. But a lot of times when I'm talking to a lot of people about getting a venture off the ground, and as we, embark on the final stages of this year, a lot of people are focused on the new year and kind of New Year's resolutions and what they want to do for the new year, possibly getting some ventures off the ground, starting new businesses, you name it. And a lot of times, the thing that is the biggest hindrance that I find is confidence. And what I mean by confidence is having the confidence of being able to take that first step to say, all right, I'm good enough to do what I profess that I can do. I'm good enough to start that new venture, start that new business. I'm good enough to say that I want to now be a public speaker or a life coach or start into ministry or so, some of those things. The biggest thing I found is the lack of confidence. A lot of people get to the threshold. They have no problem with planning it out. They have no problem in knowing what the vision is. They have no problem in knowing what they want to do. But the thing that they lack is confidence. The ability to be able to say that, yes, I'm good as anybody else within the field. I have the ability to, do whatever I need to do. And what I'm finding is a lot of times it's not so much the confidence factor that kills them. It's the competence factor that kills them. So what I like to say is there's a marriage between confidence and competence. And what I've learned is the more competent you are, the more confident you will become. And where I see I guess the downfall in a lot of areas is a lot of people lack confidence because they don't seek after the competence. And what I mean by that is they're not prepared enough. They have dreams, they have goals, they have visions, they have aspirations, but many of them don't really reach their goals and aspirations because they never take the proper time to prepare themselves. You know, I want to be the best singer in the world, but I won't take any voice lessons. I want to be the best singer in the world, but I don't study other great singers. I want to be a great speaker, but I don't study other speakers. I don't study the art of persuasion. I don't study the art of speaking. So a lot of times what happens is when we try to launch out into these new ventures, our confidence wanes, not because we're not good at what we do, not because we don't have a desire. Thank you. I appreciate it. Not because we don't have a desire to do what we want to do, but because we're unprepared. We don't have the competence factor. And I trust you. You show me someone that is highly competent and highly skillful. Typically, their confidence is through the roof. You take a professional athlete who has trained the entire off season on their craft, where they've worked on their body, they've worked on their mind, they've worked on, every facet of their game that was waning in the past or previous seasons of their life. And you find them, they're ready to go when it comes for opening day. And as they progress throughout the year, they have a greater degree of confidence because their competence level has been sharpened in the off season. So I want to talk to someone in here today that while you're in your off season, you're not necessarily on display right now. You're not necessarily at the point where you've launched that venture and you're ready to go to this proverbial next level. While you're in the off season, how are you preparing? Must study the craft subject to increase one's confidence. Absolutely. You have to study your craft. And what I find is a lot of people waste time when they're in their off season and they're constantly talking about their next season in life. I can't wait till God opens up the next door, when God gets me to the next season and takes me to the next dimension and takes me to the next platform. But they're not prepared when they get to that platform. And what I found, the worst disservice you can do to yourself is to get into your promise and get into your season and not be prepared. Some of you, if you remember while we were in school, what's going on, DL830? That's my best friend. Y'all follow him. That's Derek Lindsay from Charlotte, North Carolina. And so what I found is when people, if you remember when we were in school or in college, the worst thing that could happen was for you to take a test and not be prepared. What's going on, brother? The worst thing that you could do is to take a test and not be prepared. Some of us are like that now. As we go through life, we get to certain places in our life and we're unprepared. And then we become bitter with God because, God, I got to this place, but you didn't let this thing succeed. You didn't allow this thing to materialize. And Lord, I stepped out on faith, but the venture that I stepped out on failed. And we fought ourselves and we fought God. And really all we can do is look at our preparation or the lack thereof. I promise you, if you prepare now for your next season, don't spend a lot of time trying to prove your haters wrong. Thank you. Thank you. Don't spend a lot of time even talking about your haters. What I found is highly successful people preparation is the key. Highly successful people don't spend a lot of time dwelling on others. Highly successful people have a tendency of being focused and honed in on themselves. Trust me, if you focus all of your time and your attention on enhancing your skill and your craft and your art and really improving yourself, you won't have to worry about haters. Trust me, I probably spend less than 5 minutes a day worrying about what people say about me, what people think about me, what people are trying to hinder me. Why? Because those things don't matter. Trust me, if you're highly skillful and highly competent at what you're doing, it really doesn't matter what anybody else says or does. Because I promise you, if the hand of God is upon your life, if God has ordained you for such a time as this, if God has a purpose and plan in your life, there ain't nobody that can hinder you. I promise you, there's not a hater that can hinder you. Trust me, I've learned personally that you can't even sabotage the thing that God has called you to do. You can't even self-destruct. When God has called you to do something and he has a purpose and a plan in your life, you need to prepare right now. Stay focused. What you focus on grows. Absolutely. You focus on bitterness, you become bitterness. Greatness doesn't need approval or acceptance. Right. That's right. That's my wife. Y'all follow her with her beautiful self. JSG Unlimited. Y'all follow Sister Joy Green. But yes, absolutely. So I want to challenge you tonight to not focus on so much your confidence, but focus more on your competence. Because if you focus on your competence, your confidence will rise. I'm telling you, it doesn't matter who you are. If you begin to be skillful at what you do, your confidence will always begin to grow. And sometimes your competence level depends on how much you practice and how much you prepare. Look at this. You look at a basketball player. It is said that some NBA stars like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James, they can hoist up about 1,500 to 2,000 shots per day. Y'all not going to hear me. They can shoot about 1,500 to 2,000 shots per day. That's how many opportunities that they prepare for. Now, in the game, they may only get 25 looks, 25, 30 shots per game, but they've shot 2,000 per day to prepare for the 25 that they will do in the game. Y'all not hearing me. Your work ethic has to far exceed the level of what your normal performance will be. Your preparation has to exceed what your normal performance will be. If they prepare 2,000 shots for what they will have to do 25 of in a game, how much more should you prepare at your craft and what you're doing? If I got to preach a 1 hour sermon or 45-minute sermon, because a 1 hour sermon would be too long. Any homiletics or hermeneutics professors out there would say that an hour sermon is too long. So let's say 30 to 40 minute presentation. If I have to give a 30 to 40 minute presentation, I can't afford to just prepare for 15 minutes. Y'all not hearing me. I can't afford to just skim through the Word of God for 15 minutes and think that that's going to take me through a 30 to 40 minute presentation. I should have an in-depth desire and a passion to prepare a lot more than what I'm going to do. Man, I cannot tap this screen enough. Hey, man, I'm glad it's been a blessing. Trust me, I've learned it's not a greater appreciation or a compliment that you can give to your craft for how you prepare for it. Trust me. A true testament of how much you care about your craft is how much you prepare for it and how much you obsess with the preparation of it. Trust me, those that are great at what they do, they become compulsive at preparation. They become meticulous at every single detail because they know that that one detail could be the determining factor of being just good and being great. And I don't know about you, I've done a lot of good things, but I want to be special. I want to be great. I want to be the industry standard. I want to be the person that stands out. Trust me, in every industry, no matter what you do, there's a lot of good people in it. There's a lot of people that do what you do good. There's a lot of people that do what you do good without even trying. But you should strive for greatness. I was about to say, can you watch with me 1 hour? Absolutely. Absolutely. So you got to be great at what you do. I don't know about you. I don't want to just be typical and mundane and just go through the motions. There's some things that I do well without even trying, without even, giving much thought to it. But the older you get and the more wisdom that you get, you realize that you can't just skate off being good, because the determining factor of how successful you will be, you have to be able to stand alone. What is it about your product that's better than your competitor? What is it about your service that's better than your competitor? Because if I like your competitor better than you, then I might choose them just because I like them better. But you have to make it to where the decision has to be a hard decision, that people can't leapfrog over you because you're so good at what you do. You're so awesome and so proficient at what you do that people cannot overlook you. People that don't even like you. Trust me, I've had people that don't even like me use my services. Why? Because I was better than my competition, that I stood out. And they knew my quality, that I might not like Roger as a person. I might not like his personality. I might not like his demeanor or how he handles things, but I know that he's going to give so much passion to what he does. Make it to be a hard decision for people to choose you or your competitor. Why? Because they know your work ethic. And the thing that I've learned about it is when people respect your work ethic, that respect and value your craft and what you do. So this is very informative and motivational. Thanks. Green hearts. Thank you, Erica. I appreciate it. I appreciate all of the hearts that you guys are giving. And if this is adding value and you haven't shared, please share by all means with your followers. And if you're not following me yet, I would love for you to follow me. I'm just trying to grow a network of people of like mind that's trying to go to the next level. And trust me, I reciprocate on the love. Those of you that are new to my scopes, I definitely reciprocate the love. Finally found me on Catch. Definitely. Thank you. You can find any of my past Periscopes on catch.me. That's KATCH.me/Roger L. Green Jr. You can find all of my previous scopes for those of you that are just joining in. So for those of you just joining in, I just want to reset the broadcast. We're talking about the marriage between confidence and competence. And we're talking about a lot of times you think that your confidence is low, but it's really your competence that's low. That if you increase your competence, that your confidence will raise exponentially. And what you can do day by day is just improve your confidence. No, just Roger Green Noel. No, it's under my name. It's the same handle as my Twitter. It's Roger L. Green Jr. It's the same as my Twitter. My Catch is linked to my Periscope, which is the same as my Twitter and my Periscope, Roger L. Green Jr. So definitely, you guys check that out. And I want you to take your life to a whole nother level. I can't find me with the L. I don't know why you can't find me with the L. It should be catch.me/Roger L. Green Jr. It should be my handle. That should be my handle. But yeah, definitely don't wait to January to do it. A lot of people wait to January, and January is just, you don't want to have a knee-jerk reaction. You don't want to just be a person that just does it in January because everybody does it in January. But typically I start thinking about my next year in October of every year. I don't wait to December. I do it in October. One reason is because I've programmed my mind, because the government, I used to do a lot of government grants and get a lot of funding within the government, and the government ends their fiscal year in October. I don't know how many of you know that. So if you're looking at going after funds for your business and your venture, and you're trying to go after government funds, you say you too. Their fiscal year ends in October. So if you wait to December, you waited too long with the government. Their fiscal year ends in October, and a lot of other companies' fiscal year ends in October. So you should program your mind to start thinking about in October, really working on the next year. So that you can be ahead of the curve, because a lot of times people wait to December. So they spend all January trying to get their ideas going, and you've missed an entire month. You've missed an entire month. You've missed a whole month in the first quarter of the year. So start in October with your planning so that in January you can roll out with things. I got things that I'm about to roll out in January. Yes, you're a veteran, so you know that the fiscal year ends in October. And you got to get everything together by then. So, yeah, I like to say, you guys have your stuff together. Roll it out. I have things I'm rolling out in January already that I've already prepared for. Things I've already worked on, already got on the table that I haven't launched yet. I'm going to probably launch the end of December going into January, that I don't miss a beat. There's some courses, some online courses that I'm going to be training on business development, on Periscope. There's some Bible trainings that I'm going to have in the first quarter of the year that you guys are definitely welcome to look at. You can go to my website at www.rogergreenjr.com. I just turned 29. I'm looking for professional guidance. Thank you. Definitely go to hit my website, rogergreenjr.com. Hit the contact page and shoot me a message. I'll definitely be grateful and happy to help you with your business development. That's what I do. I do coaching on business development for entrepreneurs, how to start their own business, different tips on grant writing and how to get funding with the federal, state, and even local governments, things that you have to have for a federal grant. A lot of people don't realize, you have to have what's called a DUNS number. I'll teach you how to apply for a DUNS number. I'll teach you about websites. I'm giving you a tip now. Go to grants.gov, register for grants.gov. Also go to the Federal Register. God brought me to your page. Well, thank God. I'm glad that he did. Last quarter of the year should start the first quarter of one's new year. Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you guys came. I hope that this is adding value to you. I get joy. You needed that as well. Awesome. I get joy out of helping people start their ventures and helping people start their businesses and just being a brain trust, helping you really brainstorm, giving you some ideas of things that I've learned. I could say over 20 years in business. And I could say that I'm only 37 years old, but I started very, very early. I started my first business when I was 21 years old. Prior to that, I attended my first real estate closing around 11 or 12 years old with my father, who was a real estate investor. So I've been around an entrepreneurial family since the time I was a little boy. So I've seen businesses start. My father is an attorney. So my father, with his law and legal background, taught me all the ins and outs about how to start corporations, the difference between S corps, the difference between limited liability corporations, the difference between regular corporations or S corps and partnerships, and you name it. So I've learned a wealth of knowledge from my parents who have had businesses, who they started a business. It is a blessing. It's a tremendous blessing. They started a business, a daycare with about 5 kids in 1982, I believe, 82, 83, around that time. And it started with 5 kids, which eventually grew to a child care facility with well over 350 kids, one of the most successful in Charlotte, North Carolina. Have so many talents. Absolutely. I understand. I'll work with you on that to hone in, because that was one of my problems. But as I grew older, I had to learn I didn't want to be a jack of all trades, because we don't normally finish that phrase. It says jack of all trades, but master of none. That's not a flattering thing, to be a jack of all trades, because sometimes you can have so many talents that you haven't really honed in on what you do best. I've been a real estate investor in real estate since I was 21 years old. Very lucrative for me, made some money. Yep. A lot of people don't know that. It's called a jack of all trades, but the end of the phrase is master of none. So you don't want to be like that. So I was in real estate, and what I learned is the real deal, folks. Oh, thank you, bro. I appreciate it. I definitely appreciate it. That's my best friend. He wouldn't just say that just to say that, just because he's my best friend. He's an honest brother. But what I learned in real estate, one of the doctrines in real estate that we talk about when it talks about zoning is highest and best use. What's going on, Mr. Relentless? That's my brother. That's my friend. Bam. Y'all follow him. He just got an amazing deal. Put up some emojis, my friend, Mr. Relentless. He's going to be sharing the stage with Les Brown's son, John Leslie Brown. He's going to be a motivational speaker. Are you training, and are you expensive? I'm not highly expensive, but you get what you pay for. I like to say I'm affordable, but I'm not necessarily Neiman Marcus, but I'm not necessarily Dollar Tree either. So y'all know y'all value. I talk to my branding clients about that as well. Know your value. Know your value. This is one business tip that I oftentimes tell people. Whenever you're starting a business, start a business the way you want to end the business. And what I mean by that is, if you want to end the business at Neiman Marcus, don't start the business as Walmart. A lot of times when we're just starting in business, we try to have our prices to be so competitive that we can get business. But what happens is, as you grow and as you get better at that business, you can never really raise your price, because the perception of people of your business is Walmart, right? There's nothing wrong with Walmart as long as you plan to stay Walmart. If you're going to be discount prices forever, be discount prices. But Walmart can never grow to being Neiman Marcus, because it's always been Walmart. Reset. Thank you for the heart reset. She's giving me a heart reset. She's given 500 hearts. She went back out to come back in so Periscope can count the other hearts, for those of you that are new to Periscope. But yeah, so if you start out at Walmart, you can never reach back to Neiman Marcus level. Why? Because you started out at Walmart. So in people's minds, you are discount shopper. You've attracted those looking for a bargain, those that's looking for a discount. So you never get to Neiman Marcus. So if your intention is to get to Neiman Marcus, start out, even if you got to start out as a small boutique, but start out as a small specialized boutique that has a high clientele, so that as you grow, you're expanding bigger, but your target audience and your target demographic is still the same. So that's just a business tip there. Don't necessarily start out slashing your prices. There's some people that I had to learn. You say, I'm in the New Jersey area. Are you in this area? No, I'm in North Carolina area, but I do a lot of stuff via the internet, via Skype, doing Google Hangout, a lot of other ways that we can conference in and we can see each other face to face, just like Periscope. I do private Periscope sessions as well that I can coach and help you in your business or your ministry as well. I also, if you guys go to my website, if you go, I have a course, online course that I'm going to roll out on tomorrow, I think. It's called 10 things that you need to have right now. And what I'm doing a beta testing of this course, and I'm doing it for just my Periscope folk and the people right now before the new year. I'm offering this course. Now, are y'all ready for me to tell you how much I'm gonna offer this course for? Are y'all ready? Y'all let me know if you're ready. Some people throw me up some emojis or say you're ready. Yes, you ready? Excellent. Ready? It's ridiculous how much I'm offering this course for. It's called 10 things that you need right now. And this goes with businesses. This can go with churches. This can go with organizations. This can just go for you. 10 things that you need right now. And I'm offering that course. It's going to eventually be a $299 course. I'm offering it to my Periscope folk and to just, people that's been following me and been so great to me. I'm offering it for $29.95. Am I insane? Is that interesting? Would anybody pay for that course? First of all, I already have clients that are willing to pay the $300 price point. But how many would pay $29.95 for that course? Just by, if you would, just say yes. Yes, $29.95. $29.95. And this is about, I'd say, 2.5, 3 hours worth of content on this particular course. Is videotape. It's an actual online course. You go through it. It has PowerPoint presentations. It has all of that. I'm probably even going to throw in an additional coaching, 1 hour coaching that, we can set up. But it's ridiculously crazy. I'm doing this special just to pilot this course. I got my web designer and web developer to do it on my course. So you're going to actually be able to go through in the portal, have your own login and password, go through, look at all the videos at your own time. It's going to be unlimited for a lifetime. You can go back and look at this course. You can download the PowerPoint. I don't know if it's going to be PowerPoint or PDF. I think it's going to be PDF to make it easier. Download the PDF. I've already done the course. It's done. It's just a matter of me launching it, putting it on the site. You'll also be able to have links in there. Some of the 10 things is a website. When I talk about website, I don't just talk about having a cookie cutter website. I talk about having things like search engine optimization, which is SEO, teaches you how to get your website on the highest. For how long would that price be? It's probably just going to be for like 2-3 weeks. I'm not going to do that price forever because I just talked to you about having low prices. This is just something really, to be honest, I'm beta testing it only because I haven't done an online course on my site yet. So I'm just beta testing it. I'm doing it at this low price to get as many people out there to give me some feedback as much as possible. So, the content I know is worth more than that. I'm trying to work the bugs out. So I'm selling it to it cheap so that when people get on there, you can give me some positive feedback. Let me know how you've enjoyed the course. I have clients now. While I was working and producing this course 2 months ago, I already sold $1,500 worth of people to that course. I don't even know how many that is. $29, $1,500. I've already sold to a lot of my personal clients $1,500 worth. So I've already monetized on Periscope $1,500 to $2,000 on that course without even having it up on online, because my clients already had faith in me. They knew the content that I bring, and I always go overboard. When I give stuff, my clients know I go overboard. I end up giving more than what I should give because I'm so passionate about it. So for those of you that are interested, definitely go to my website at rogergreenjr.com, www.rogergreenjr.com. Spread the word on your social media. I'm only going to do it for like a week or two. rogergreenjr.com. That's over 50 people. Thank you for doing the math. Yeah, that's about over 50 people that wanted it before I even had it. I didn't have a brochure. I didn't have a flyer. I didn't even have a template of what I was going to do. I just told them, hey, I got something called 10 things that you need to have right now. I'm going to sell it for $29. They jumped on it. What's going on, Pastor? I was telling them about an online course that I have that is going to be a $300 course, but I'm giving it to my Periscope folk and my friends and my loyal customers for $29 for the next couple weeks. I'm doing it just to beta test because I really want people to be able to go through the course and enjoy it and give me some feedback on it, because it'll be my first online course that I've done on my website. So definitely go to my site, www.rogergreenjr.com. It should be a link on there for you to pre-order the course now. If not, it'll be on there tomorrow, and I'll tell more about it. But this is an amazing course. It's like 2.5 hours to 3 hours of content already on there, videos. I'm gonna have PowerPoint or PDF documents for you to download. I'm gonna have helpful links. I'm gonna tell you, it's one section alone that is worth it. The section where I talk about grant writing and funding. There's enough information in there alone. Trust me, each of the 10 things, literally, I could have broken the 10 things down and had 10 separate courses, and each course could have been $200. I promise you, that's the type of content it has in it. But yeah, so there we go. We're talking about confidence and competence. I want to help you get your competence level to a whole nother level. You do real estate? Yes, sir. I've been doing real estate since 2001. I don't even know how much time it is. I've done from residential to commercial. And when I say residential to commercial, I've done from multi-million-dollar houses to land deals to housing complexes to shopping strip malls to restaurants to churches. I've done it all. So I've seen a lot in real estate to real estate investing. So I'm gonna be doing a course later on in the year, probably beginning of the year, on credit repair and real estate investing as well. So you definitely want to follow. Go to my website, and as soon as you go on my website, it's going to ask you to register your name on my site so you can get updates. I'll give you information. I want to help you go to a whole nother level. What I'm doing now is trying to duplicate myself. I'm trying to duplicate the knowledge that the Lord has blessed me to get. I'm trying to give it and put it in as many people as possible, because I'm not a selfish person. I believe in giving away this information. I got kicked off after I commented. But I'm back. What's going on, Mr. Relentless? Like I said, this is one of the up and coming public speakers. Mr. Relentless, give us a whole bunch of emojis so that the entire room can follow you. Trust me, y'all want to follow this man. He's a motivational speaker. He just announced on yesterday that he's going to be doing motivational speaking with Les Brown's son. He's going to share the stage with the world-renowned Les Brown and his son, John Leslie Brown. Y'all want to follow Mr. Relentless. He is one of the best periscopers on Periscope. He helps and does a lot of tips for a lot of your newbies. There you go. Y'all follow Mr. Relentless. Trust me, I don't recommend everybody. I don't even share everybody's broadcast, but I share Mr. Relentless. You welcome, my friend. Bam. Whenever you see his Periscopes, he does this. That's one of his signatures. And he's just awesome man of God. Great dude. So that's the type of people I want to connect you guys with. I want to get you guys right. Bam. I want to get you guys connected with the very best on Periscope. There's a lot of people on Periscope. There's a lot of great content on Periscope, but I only want to connect you with the very best people that can take your life to a whole nother level, that can really motivate you and really challenge you. I'm not interested in necessarily networking with everybody. I'm interested into networking with people of like mind, like passion, that we have similar goals. There's no need for me to network with people that's not going to really take me to another level. There's no need for people to network with me if I don't add value to them. So I want you to connect with people that add value to you, that really can take you to a whole nother level. And the only way to do that is to get with people that are doing what you're doing, and sometimes people that are doing what you do better than what you do. Listen, if you are the smartest and the most gifted and the most talented and the richest and the wealthiest person in your circle, you need to change your circle. I'll say it again. If you're the smartest, the richest, the most intelligent, the most gifted person in your circle, you need to change your circle. Why? Because you'll never go to a whole nother level. Why? Because nobody in your circle can challenge you. Nobody in your circle can take you to a higher level. Find some people that are doing it better than what you're doing. Connect with them and get great. Connection messed up. So glad I'm back. I'm glad you're back too. Dr. Sanders will tell you there's some conferences that Dr. Sanders has been going to lately that he's been getting around with some folk that do it better than what he possibly do it, that challenges and stretches your thinking. Trust me, I've had to get around some people and swallow your pride. Trust me. If you've done well in your industry for an extended period of time, sometimes the hardest thing is you rest on your laurels and you look at the fact that you're so great at what you're doing. And what you have to do is you have to stop for a moment, get some humility, let go of your pride and realize there's some people that do it better than me. And if I'm at the top of my game right now and everybody around me is just patting me on the back, telling me how great I am, it's really doing me a disservice. Let go of your pride and realize I need to find some people that's doing it better than me. It's easy to be a big fish in a small pond, right? But the only thing about being a big fish in a small pond is you can't really swim around. You're just stagnant. You're at a standstill. If you're a big fish in a small pond, you're not really going anywhere. You're just chilling. You're just wading water. You're just sitting there and letting everybody admire your size, but you're really not going nowhere. So sometimes you got to get into a bigger give yourself room to expand. Absolutely. Give yourself room to expand. Tell my wife, she's just giving me all these great comments that's taking me even higher right there. The Lord say, if you find a wife, you find a good thing and findeth favor with the Lord. So I thank God for what she's adding and the value she's giving to these scopes as well. But yeah, so I'm not going to keep you guys long. I just wanted to let you know, right? Go Joy. That's my wife. Joy Green. I get joy when I think about it. Joy bells keep ringing in my song. You either expand or you become expendable. Absolutely, sir. I told you, Mr. Relentless adds value and is a wealth of knowledge. You know, you either expand or you become expendable. In other words, people can just, you're not really needed. So grow to your full potential. Go somewhere and really get developed and cultivate your skill. Find the industry leaders. Don't be scared to ask. Don't be scared to tell people, look, I don't know. Don't be scared to say, I'm trying to get to your level. Don't be scared to say, look, don't be scared to pick people's brain and say, look, how did you get to where you want to be? Because a lot of times what people want to do is sometimes people will share with you their pitfalls and say, man, don't do this. Don't do that. I've had some people I've been very fortunate to be around that has showed me and navigated through some of the tough times. How I got started in real estate was actually one of my best friend's mom owned a real estate firm and his uncle taught the real estate course. And they took me under their wing and they taught me everything they know. And they said, look, I have 25 years or 30 years of experience in real estate. This is what you don't want to do. So they took me under their wing and I sat and I didn't know anything. I was green. I was a novice. I had learned a lot that I learned from my father, but I didn't have any practical experience. I had all knowledge up here, but no practical experience. They showed me and taught me the practical experience and it grew from there. So I tell people all the time, find yourself a mentor. The most dangerous thing is to have a leader that doesn't have anyone that they follow. I'll say that again. One of the most dangerous things is a leader that doesn't have anybody that they can follow. Every leader needs a leader. Every mentor needs a mentor. Hearing no hurts, but knowing you miss many. Yeah, right. Hurts more. Right. And, nothing ventured, nothing gained. If you don't take the risk, if you don't jump out there, if you don't get out there and make yourself known and really work hard and diligently in your field, you'll never know what your potential could have been. You'll sit there and be a once was and a used to been. You'll sit back and have all those stories of what you could have been. But I promise you, as we're sitting here on this scope, there are some people that are listening to could be our next millionaires, could be the next person that is the next Periscope superstar. Listen, this thing is so wide open now. In the comfort of your home, you have the ability to reach a worldwide market. How are you taking advantage of it? How much longer are you going to be? Or is it too late to invite your followers? No, definitely go ahead and invite your followers. I'm going to be a couple more minutes. Definitely, please invite your followers, Mr. Relentless. Definitely. And if you're just now joining on to the scope, please follow me. If you're not following, if you just stumbled upon this scope because someone recommended you, please become a follower. We're talking a little bit about the marriage. And I say the marriage because they are so intertwined together between confidence and competence. Confidence and competence. They are married together. They should be inseparable and the two become one. So as your competence rise, your confidence rise. Me, you're the millionaire. I claim that with both hands. Amen. I receive that in the name of Jesus. That if your work ethic matches your faith, you can do whatever, because faith without works is dead. What's going on, Lady S. Wilkes? Glad to have you in. So faith without works is dead. So I believe that if you have the faith as a mustard seed, and I'll tell people this all the time because we oftentimes misquote that scripture. Scripture says, if you have faith as a mustard seed, you can speak to that mountain and command it to be cast in the midst of the sea. We oftentimes say if you have faith the size of a mustard seed. But what we fail to realize is the scripture never talks about the size of the mustard seed. The practical application that the scripture is trying to get you to see is that it's a seed, not the size. Yeah, a mustard seed is small, but you're focusing on the size and not the substance. I'll say that again. You've been focusing too much on the size and not the substance, because if you look at the size of a mustard seed, it's small. But if you look at the substance of a mustard seed, you'll recognize that it's a seed. And with that seed, right, the grain of a mustard seed, right, we've misquoted and said the size of a mustard seed because our minds only focus on the size of it and we don't focus on the substance. And if you look on the substance of it, you'll realize that even though it's a very small seed, most mustard seed plants grow to about 15, 16, some even 20 feet tall. But if you looked at just the size of it, you'd miss out on the substance. So I tell all of you all, with your faith, let your faith grow exponentially and don't focus on the size of your venture right now and say, man, I don't have this big booming business right now. What I have is just this small little seed. What you don't realize is within that seed, it has all the potential that you need to grow it to whatever big venture that you need it to be. So don't focus on the size, but focus on the substance and have faith. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You ain't got to see it. Your faith is what's going to bring it into fruition. Faith is the substance. That word in the Greek there is hypostasis. It means the assurance. It means it is the actual almost signed, sealed, delivered ability of what you want to accomplish. Your faith is that. So your faith actually activates what you want to come into pass. So all you need right now is faith and belief, and say to yourself, I can be the next millionaire. I can be the next big thing. I can be the next Periscope sensation. I can be the next motivational speaker. I dare you to say it until you see it. I dare you to say it until you see it. Don't focus on the size, but focus on the substance. Everything that you need to accomplish the purpose and the promises that God has is in your mouth. You have a miracle in your mouth. If you don't say it, you won't see it. But if you say it, you will see it. So say it until you see it. I don't know who I'm speaking to tonight. I don't know who I'm trying to encourage, but I promise you, you can do some great things if you begin to have some positive affirmations, begin to fine tune your craft, begin to have competence, that it will grow your confidence, and watch God work in your life. You begin to check off things that was on your bucket list. And some things that are on your bucket list, God never intended to be on your bucket list. He intended it to be on your list now, between now and the next 2 or 3 years. Why wait till you die or getting ready to die to accomplish some of those things? I hear God saying right now, you want to be international. Why don't you have your passport yet? You want God to take your message all over the world, but you don't even have a passport. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it right there. You want God to make you worldwide, but you don't have a passport. How's he even supposed to take you there if you're not prepared? Do everything you can right now to get prepared for what God is doing in your life. And I didn't say that to cast stones. I said that to even talk to myself, because I ain't got my passport ready. So that is something that God told me. He literally said, I want to take you across the water. I want to take you all over the place, but you don't even have a passport. You're not even ready. You know, I've been a lot of different destinations. I've been almost everywhere in the continental United States. I've been to Hawaii. I've been to the Bahamas. I've been to different places, but I haven't been to a lot of places that require me to have a passport. And God challenged me with that a few months ago and say, look, if you want to go, you're going to have to take another step and be prepared, because I can't send you right now. If the phone ring right now in the UK, say, I want you in the UK, I'm not even prepared. I don't even have a passport yet. So I'm getting those things ready, and I'm challenging you right now to get ready. Take your mind out of the local and the state and the national mentality. Anybody that doesn't think global right now is far behind. I have an African doctor, a friend of mine here in the city, who is a very successful internal medicine doctor, has 2 practices here in the Charlotte area. And he's from Africa. He's a Kenyan. And he laughs at me all the time. He said, you Americans don't realize that we are in such a global economy. So not only does he do things in America, but he does things overseas and abroad. And he oftentimes laughs at me and says, look, you guys are missing out on so much money because you're just so localized in your viewpoint that this is such a global economy. So he makes money all over the world. So I don't know who I'm talking to right now. You need to expand your thinking. Start thinking globally. Stop thinking locally. We have this internet presence. We have Periscope that is taking us all over the world. We have tools now to take your venture, to take your voice, to take your purpose, to take your passion all over the globe. Stop thinking just on your street and start thinking the entire earth. The Bible said the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, the world and they that dwell therein. Not your street, not just your neighborhood, not just your community. He said the earth is the Lord's. It's time for us to start thinking in the way that God is, right? International. Listen, I believe that God has that for some of us in this room right now. As we view this Periscope, as you're viewing this Periscope, I believe some of you are international. I believe the biggest thing that's keeping some of you all from being the next big thing is exposure. And God's wanting to expose you. He's using these mediums like Periscope and things of that nature to expose you to a broader audience so that people can know you. Some of you have been gifted for 5, 10, 15 years, but nobody knew it. Some of you have been anointed for 5, 10, 15 years and nobody knew it. Some of you had a voice for 5, 10, 15 years and nobody knew it. Mr. Relentless, I don't believe Mr. Relentless became a great public speaker yesterday when he got the call that he's going to be able to speak with Les Brown and John Leslie Brown. I don't think he was a great public speaker yesterday. He's been a great public speaker probably for 5, 10, 15 years. But he's just now getting the exposure that he deserves. So I'm telling you, maximize this time in history. Maximize this opportunity to gain the exposure and for people to be able to see your platform and to begin to learn you and understand you and know what you bring to the table. Be prepared. Have content, have substance, and let me do it. Like I said, if you go to my website, rogergreenjr.com, in the comment section, in the contact section, send me a message. I'll reach out to you. We can reach out together. I'll coach you. I'll help you. I'll talk to you about content, how to get content, how to do your own webinars, how to do your own online courses, how to do your own books and literature, how to have content. Some of you have content for days. Some of you pastors that are on here, listen, I told my dad this. My dad's been pastoring for 20 years. And for 20 years, especially in the early parts of his ministry, he did a Sunday morning sermon. He did a Sunday evening sermon. He did a Wednesday Bible class sermon. He did a Sunday school sermon. He did about 4 or 5 classes every week, 52 weeks out the year. Each of those classes, that's content that he studied. Those are products. Those are things that my father doesn't even realize. He has an office with stacks upon stacks of notebooks and writings and things that he's done. And he only realized the wealth of content that he already has. This world is starving for content. So I help you. I'll help coach you on how to convert that content to actual material that can benefit people, that can really benefit you as well. So I want to talk to you. Yeah, Pastor Saunders, man, those Sunday school lessons, man, those classes, that's content, sir. Those are things that you really need to not let die with you. And when you publish a book and you publish a work, that stuff will never die. That stuff will outdate even you. So all of you got, some of you got books and contents in you right now. Some of you have testimonies right now that people need to hear. My best friend, Derek Lindsay, right now, man, he has a testimony that is amazing right now. I can put his testimony on 2020 right now and people would tune in and be glued in. He could be on every major network with his story right now and people will be glued in. He has a book in him. He has songs in him. He has network specials in him. Some of you are just like that, but you got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. Your competence will raise your confidence. You can go to the next level. Go and grow with me. Let's take this thing together. Let's go around the globe. Let's share your message. Let's share your content. go to my website, www.rogergreenjr.com. That's www.roger, R-O-G-E-R, green like the color, J-R as in junior.com. Send me a message. Let me link up with you. Let me help coach you. Let me take you that concept to a whole nother level. Look out for that online course. I believe it's a link already on there. Pre-order it. Pre-order it. I'll make sure that you take it. If it's not on there today, it'll be on there tomorrow. For those of you that's just joining in, I'm offering a course called 10 Things That You Need to Have Right Now. Let me give you a picture of what it looks like. What the screen looks like. 10 things that you need to have right now. You'll be able to see this course is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours worth of content on 10 things that you need to know. Let's see. Can you guys see that? It's a little fuzzy. It'll look just like that. 10 things. Yeah, 10 things that you need right now. If you go to my website, rogergreenjr.com. 10 things you need right now. It's an online course. I hate that it's fuzzy. I wish you could see it better. 10 things that you need right now. And I'm offering it for $29 for the next couple weeks for my Periscope family. Thank you, Ronnie Reese. Y'all follow my brother. Yeah, man, I have a course, 10 things that you need right now. Those 10 things is going to talk a little bit about having a website, having a proper social media site. And when I talk about social media, I talk about when you should post, where you should post. And what I mean by when you should post is going to be things that Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they've allocated the times that you need to post, when's the best time you post. For some of you, you're not getting the results that you want on social media. Possibly it's because you're not posting at the right times. So I'll talk a little bit about that. Adequate website, number 1. Targeted social media, number 2. A multimedia team, number 3. I'm going to give you tips on how to have a multimedia team without even having a big business. Y'all not going to hear me. I'm going to teach you how to have a multimedia team, how to contract a multimedia team for relatively inexpensive, to have a graphic designer, have a videographer, people to put together all kind of things for you. Right. I want to help you. Number 4, funding and grant writing team. I'm going to give you tips on how to apply for federal funding. Number 5, proper organizational and corporate structure. Those are 2 different things. Organizational structure and corporate structure, 2 different things. Corporate structure deals with whether or not you're a corporation or limited liability corporation, an S corp, partnership, sole proprietorship. That's one thing. That's a power pack deal. Yes, sir. Organizational structure deals with more of the hierarchy. So sometimes your corporate staff may be different than your organizational staff, meaning your board of directors may not work with the day-to-day operations of your business. I'll talk a little bit about that. All right. Number 6, an outreach and conversion strategy, whether it's a church or a business or whatever. Some of us don't have a strategy on how to outreach. And when we don't have a strategy on how to outreach and bring people to our business or to our church, a lot of times we don't have a conversion strategy. A lot of times in ministries and churches, we expect people to just come to the church. And when they come to church, we really don't have a conversion strategy. We don't know how to really convert them into members or how to get them involved and connected and plugged in. We don't really have a strategy. We just leave it up to them for them to say, hey, I want to be a member. But we don't really say, hey, you can be a member. We don't really let people know. You're stepping on my toes in the overview. Hey, I'm just saying. A lot of times we don't have a conversion strategy. Number 7. Core of young leaders. I talk to a lot of pastors. A lot of times I get a chance to coach a lot of pastors on this. They don't realize that if your church doesn't have a strong demographic between the ages of 25 and 40, your church is dying and it's pretty much dead. If your core demographic is not 25 to 40, your church is dying. I'll stop right there. If your church doesn't have a strong demographic between 25 and 40, your church is dying. All right. So I talk a little bit about that and why that's important and why that should always be your core demographic. Why? Because they are, number 1, the strongest in strength and vitality. They're at the prime of their life in finances. After you get in your 50s and 60s, God bless you. Not saying we forget about them, but they're moving towards fixed incomes. So financially, they really can't help your ministry as much as they could have in their more productive years. In their 50s, 60s, 70s, they're less likely to be able to be ones that's going to be at every service and be able to have strength and vitality. The sun is setting on their growth, right? So you want to constantly make sure that you have a core of young leaders, not just core people in your ministry, but let them be core young leaders. People need to see them in leadership positions. People will join your ministry or your business or your, venture when they see people between 25 to 40. It says that you're growing, that you're progressive, that you have a progressive mentality. But when people are your core demographic 65 to 70, they know that you're set in your ways. You're not really changing. You're not really growing. You're not really progressing. That's just your group. So you need to have strength in all of those age groups. But your core demographic should be 25 to 40. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to tell you that, something to help you. Number eight, good knowledge on growth. Thank you. Number 8, you need to have a growth plan. Most of us, if we truly be honest, would not be able to handle. If your church has 100 members, if your church exponentially grows tomorrow and has 500 members, most of us could not handle the growth. You would drown in the growth. You would drown in the growth. Some of us want growth, but we don't have a growth plan. You got to have a growth plan on how you intend to serve if you just grew rapidly and exponentially. Have a growth plan so that we have strategic growth. Now, I'm not going to say turn it down if your business or ministry grows just like that. Sometimes you just have to learn and grow and adapt as you grow. But most of us don't want that testimony because some of us can't handle it. Trust me, I've seen people grow too rapidly and they crack up, and the stress of the growth causes them to lose their mind. You don't want to be at that point. Trust me. Everybody that grows so rapidly and has money and all that saw a business in your city not be able to handle the rush and demand this week. Absolutely. Trust me. Trust me, y'all look at me. Some people, y'all might be looking at the screens funny right now saying, yeah, right. I can handle that type of growth. If I grew that rapidly, man, I'd find a way to handle it. Trust me, if you don't have a plan, it can drown you. It can literally drown you. There's businesses that go out of business. There's probably restaurants that's in your city that have been thriving and booming. Every time you go to that place, you see people in that place, but then they go out of business. You're like, how in the world did they go out of business? They had people in there from door to door wrapped around the building because they could not handle the growth. Because they could not handle the growth, they drowned in the growth. So we talk about having a growth plan. Number 9, we talk about having electronic payment methods. If all you're doing is taking cash in your business, in your church, you messing up. If all you're doing in your ministry, in your church, is taking cash, then you're losing money. Because the millennials, do not carry cash. And furthermore, if you don't know what I mean when I say millennials, you're really behind. Because if you're thinking that we're still talking about the Generation X, which was probably my group, you behind. It's a new group called the millennials that came a little bit after me, which was in the late 70s, 80s, the mid 80s on up. Those are millennials. Those millennials, they don't carry cash. They're swiping. And if you don't have electronic payment methods, they may reach in their pocket. They might have $1 or $5, wherein they wanted to give you 100. So you're missing out on it if you don't have electronic means. And one of the worst things for you to do as a small business owner is to have a service and to do a service, right? Card carrier, do or die. Absolutely. That's me. Listen, I can't tell you the last time I had an abundance of cash in my pocket, but I'll swipe in a minute. So a lot of times you miss out. And the worst thing you want to do is to inconvenience your customer when they don't have the money to pay for your service and they wanted to buy more, but you don't have the means to allow them to pay for it because they didn't have enough cash. So they're limited. They'll just buy a little bit and then they'll walk out and then they'll leave you alone. They'll never come back to you. All right. Then number 10, a succession plan. Everybody should have a succession plan, whether you're a business, whether you're a ministry, whether you're an organization, have a succession plan in place. Determined, don't let your dream, your venture, your purpose die with you. It would be dumb for me to work and do all this hard work and for it to die with me and not leave anything for my kids and not leave anything for those that have worked hand in hand with me. Have a succession plan. I know it's not something easy to talk about, but one of the biggest things I learned from my dad, being an attorney, he's been talking about succession before I was even old enough to even take anything into my hands. Now I do a lot with my home church, and I'm the youth pastor there, and I'm one of the members of the board, and I do a lot there with my dad being the senior pastor. But even before then, he talked about succession. My dad's had he and my mom's burial plots for at least 20 years now. That might sound eerie to people, but my dad's one of the people that, look, I'm gonna have life insurance. I'm gonna know where we're gonna be buried. That if we die tomorrow, you and your brother will be taken care of. If you die, if your mom died tomorrow, you'll know exactly what my intentions were. Why? Because you have to plan. You don't want everything to fall by the wayside if something catastrophic happens to you. So that's the 10 things. So I hope that was enough content that at least to satisfy your curiosity and hopefully make you want to purchase that course. It's only $29 for the next couple weeks. 10 things that you need to have right now. So definitely go to my website, www.rogergreenjr.com, for more information. I'm gonna let you guys go. I hope that was a blessing to you. For those who joined in late, we talked about the marriage of competence and confidence. And we say they're married hand in hand together, that if you want to increase your confidence, increase your competence. So fine tune, work on the skill. Thank you for the compliment. Fine tune yourself, your skill. Thank you, honey. Fine tune your competence and your confidence will raise exponentially. Why do you think that every major profession under the sun right now has what's called continuing education? In fact, after you've got into it, after you've learned it, after you had a certain degree of mastery, every year you need to keep taking courses and learning what's the growing trend, what's the industry standard, what's out there next. Always keep cultivating your life. So as your competence grows, your confidence will grow. They're married hand in hand. Hope this was a blessing. Visit my website, www.rogergreenjr.com, rogergreenjr.com. Thank you all for the hearts. Thank you all for sharing. Thank you all who are new followers. I appreciate it. God bless you. I'll come back to you later and we'll share some more from what I like to call Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.